Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk. Hey guys, so it's Becca. I just wanted to come on because you're gonna listen to a podcast today, and I got new headphones and I couldn't figure out how to do like something with the microphone, so I used the headphones mic, and I think it's a little wonky. Like there's a few parts where it gets really loud and then it gets kind of quiet. I think it's okay for the most part, but I apologize in advance is kind of what I'm saying for the sound of the whole situation. Next week will be better because I'm going to figure out the mic situation. I just didn't have the right cord, and I'll admit I was too lazy to go downstairs and get it. So, yes, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Also, for the future, when we get there, I did ask our waiter last night what flacco means. Um, Instead of Googling it, which Googling it is like, oh, it means skinny. It is an insult. So it is like, you're an idiot. So anyway, you'll need to know that for the future. Okay, bye. You can hear Pip in the background.
What's he doing?
She,
She?
um, she is playing with her ball and also whining because she wants to go home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sure,
and
she's got
Lloyd's.
those headphones on, just fucking
Yeah, Sarah's
zoning it
just.
out.
Can you see her? Oh,
Yeah.
you kind of can, yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah's just zoned out. She's probably watching. Are you still watching Love Is Blind? Yeah, she's watching Love Is Blind.
Have you watched that? I've never watched it.
I've never watched it, but I've heard it because of Sarah, and she's watching it with Austin, and it sounds interesting, to say the least. To uh, to spare you all the details, but essentially they date. There's these people that date but they don't see each other. They like date in this closed room, and you don't get to see the person that you're dating until you decide that you want to get married, like until you get engaged.
Oh, okay. I thought Love is Blind is one of those where they're on an island or something. It's a big group, but that's a different show.
No, no,
That's
no.
Love Island.
That's Love Island and Paradise, Bachelor in Paradise, and
So do you get to see the people as they're talking and stuff?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. You get to see the people as they're talking, but they,
how can
yeah,
they not see each other? Is it like a wall between them or?
yeah, I think so. I think it's like a wall. I just so we all know, I have been watching. I haven't been watching this. I've been listening because I just do my work and I listen. And so
Without your own stuff to watch or whatever?
sometimes I do my own thing, but sometimes I like to listen. And I'm like one of those really annoying people with like reality TV shows where I say like such shitty things to the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is
so
that why you watch The Bachelor?
absolutely,
Are you
100%.
watching Golden Bachelor? Is that
No,
still
I
on?
haven't seen I haven't seen The Bachelor since I moved from Washington because I used to watch The Bachelor with Val. And
Oh, that's a while ago. Okay.
I can't just watch The Bachelor without somebody with me making fun of The Bachelor. Like it's
Okay. You're
you
just
can't just
screaming into the void and you just seem kind of like a
right. Like
shitty person if you're saying it to yourself.
if you watch it alone, then your IQ drops. Like if you're watching it with other people, then at least we all know it's a joke, you know? Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, we're live.
We are.
Yeah. I think the most ironic thing about our show is that we say we're live when we are indeed not live ever. We're
We're
never.
live right now in the moment. You and
We're,
I.
you and I are live.
Oh, I was going Stevie Wonder, you and I, and then you were like
Oh,
some other
sorry.
you and I.
No, I just made that up. I didn't have a song in my head.
Just you and I.
So, Ryan,
It's been a while since we talked. We didn't meet last week.
No, you were stressed.
I was heads down on Mug Club.
Yeah.
I
But
was pretty
that's all
stressed, I
done.
guess.
You were stressed.
Yeah. It's hard to hear you, but I hope that you can hear it on the audio on your
Yeah.
side. Okay. I
Yeah.
just put it up. I just chalk it up to Skype. It's probably Skype issues or something. Hopefully people can hear you okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was very deep into Mug Club, getting those 200 mugs for the brewery finished last week. The deadline that I initially set with them was December 1st, so we stuck to that. And he was advertising, Dell from the brewery was advertising for December 1st. So I was like, oh shit, I need to stick to this. As if I like wasn't planning on it, but it actually like put a little fire under me to
Yeah.
make sure I did. But I mean, I could have delayed it a few days if I wanted to, but I got it done. I think I was down to like 30 mugs that I was bisque firing, glazing, decaling, decal firing within the last like 7 days. So I had quite a few that, and it wasn't just those 30, but those were like the most steps I had to do for the last 30 versus, I had probably another 50 or so that I was just glaze firing within that 7 days and decal firing and putting the decals on. So,
Yeah.
well, we got it. I had to dig in the studio a little bit for a couple bisque mugs that held the right amount so I can get my last two. Because I was like, oh shit. Because I was kind of doing that like liquid measurement at bisque stage to see how much they held, and then
Yeah.
mathematically seeing if that would relate to how much they held at glazed state, which held up pretty well. Uh, and I probably still have another maybe 30 mugs that are too big or too small for what I was going for. My range was pretty much 20 ounces, or pretty much like 19 ounces to 23 ounces. He was okay with 23, and I just marked those appropriately so that they had some, uh, they had some something they could see that it
Yeah.
was different, and they could give those to their best customers and whatnot. So delivered those. They're sending me a check this week. He didn't have his checkbook there, so
How much did you end up selling them for?
$30 a mug.
Hell yeah.
So it was a $6,000 order.
Hell yeah.
But then I think about it and I was like, what kind of show? It's not an equal comparison to just
No.
say like a show that I make $6,000 because I only have usually two shows a year that I can make $6,000 or more on like
Right.
a good year. So expecting to say like, okay, what work goes into doing this show and making $6,000 versus making 200 mugs, which in reality was more like 275 mugs, um, or 250.
Yeah.
All that work. But the thing is, the mugs, everything is composed in the studio. So like everything that I did working on it was all within the confines of my whatever 200 square foot studio, and then just a few communications, one big transport the day of to the location to drop off, and that's pretty much it. So it's not the same comparison.
Right. You
So
can't really compare it. Yeah.
and it's yeah, it was fun. I don't think I would still do it again. I think there's a few factors of like what I would want to be a little different. Like I think I would get that laser level like you've got to help with it.
Yeah.
The obviously I would want more time, so I mean if I could know in the summer, I feel like that would be pretty good, like June, July. But again, like most of these like if I got approached by a different brewery in August or September, which is something I can't plan for, like I can't know that somebody's going to reach out to me.
Right.
Would I do it if I wasn't going to do this same one again next year? I think I would just be more realistic about my timeline. Like, I could probably work a little bit more efficiently the second time around, but I still think I was a little ambitious with the timeline. So I'm trying to remember when he initially contacted me. I'll have to look that up and see when when we first started the communication, and how long that actually took. I want to let's see. He reached out to me. Oh shit, he reached out to me July 10th.
Wow.
But but the communications went on until uh early August up to late August. I had probably late August. I had samples.
Okay.
Or late August, probably early September, realistically, of when I showed him samples and we like agreed on something. So it's pretty much all September, October, November, and that's it.
Yeah.
So 3 months to get all the actual work done. So, I mean, I obviously like it's a 2024 mug club. They don't really need them on December 1st, but I would love to get notice. And I was probably dragging my feet a little bit at the very beginning because it was the first time I'm doing it, and I didn't really have samples to show, so I was kind of like I had to make those initial ones in different shapes and go figure out a shape, like rather than coming with recommendations of this is what I've done before, this is what I would recommend, and then I can kind of give them two or three options and kind of roll with it from there. I think it would be easier. So, and then I'd probably even price it up a little bit more. I think at least 32, maybe 35.
Mug clubs seem to be one of those things where it's never enough. The price is never enough. Like,
Yeah.
it really is though. Like I'm like I've done mug clubs for $15 a mug.
Wow. How many mugs would that have been?
I think it was 75.
Okay.
It wasn't that many, I don't
See,
think, but
yeah, the ideal size, I would prefer it to be like around 100 mugs. Like I feel like that's reasonable. 200 was
yeah.
a lot. Like I just had to constantly be making them
Mhm.
all the time. And even if I make 30 mugs and I handle 30, like it doesn't feel like that big of a dent.
Yeah. For
But I also
sure.
made way more than I needed to because I wasn't exact enough in what I was making early on. So, it's a learning curve. I've actually got, I don't think I told you this, but I've got a chat scheduled with somebody that we're going to talk about mug clubs, mug subscriptions, and she does some a little bit differently. So we're actually going to talk in depth about this and compare and contrast, and then like talk about what makes it worth it for her and what is not worth it.
You never tell me anything. He just schedules this shit and then he's like, by the way.
But I
Yeah.
was assuming I was just going to talk to her because it's only like an hour. But
Why can't I talk to her
surprise,
too? Why
you
can't
can.
why
Do you want to?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean maybe. Ryan's like ready to start his own podcast. He's like, fuck wheel talk.
No.
I get surprised all the time. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're
I mean, you
yeah.
were surprised when I put Henrik on the list. You're like, "Oh, we're recording with him." I'm like, "Are you good with the scheduling?" And you're like, "Yeah, we're good. We're good."
Yeah, we're good. I know. I would like to say that I try to find people to to interview, but they always fall through. so, so,
Who is
you know.
like you've actually scheduled a recording with them, or you just showed interest and never got them to sign up?
Well, I feel like yeah, I think that's more it. Like showed interest and they never show up. Jesse, freaking Jesse. No, I'm kidding. He said that I'm his emergency. He's the emergency. Like, Jesse, I need a podcast this week. Let's go.
You could do another solo one. You'd have to figure out what to talk about though, but
That's what we were going to do. We were going to talk about owning a retail shop, and we were going to do it while he's in his retail shop. So, and hopefully somebody will come in during us recording, and we can really show you how awful it is to be interrupted mid
so
recording.
he actually like making while talking while running the retail shop?
Yeah,
Potentially?
that's what he's going to be doing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, making and recording is one thing, but also like being open for business and getting
No.
interrupted there sucks
Yeah.
too.
No, well, we won't do that, but I might be like 15 minutes later.
2 hours later.
2 hours later. Yeah. Good things, good things. Well, I saw the pictures from your mom's Christmas party
That
of
was a
you
good time.
kissing Rachel behind the cowboy hat.
I did not want to do that at all. Rachel was like, "We're doing this," and I'm like, "That is so fucking stupid."
And I was like, I'm never letting him live this
See, I
down.
thought you were saying letting me live it down because I was wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy boots and stuff.
No.
I bought that so many years ago, and I've only wore the hat once to a country concert, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Just so out of character.
It is really out of character for sure.
But the boots are all right. I wear those, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year,
Hell, worth
maybe.
the money.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't cheap, but I mean, they last. It's not like my feet are changing or anything, so
Yeah.
they fit. They're good.
So the party was good.
It was good. We got there during the day Saturday, hung out, helped them out a little bit beforehand. Good food, good company. Got to play a little bit of games in the evening with the Popes and family friends and stuff. Popes are their last name. It's not. We don't have just a gang of Popes coming to hang out.
Ironic though, because they're Catholic. Ironic.
Yeah. We got to play a little spades at the very end.
Nice,
And
nice.
we did not finish the game. It took forever. We didn't get done until 4 a.m. and they were like, we've got to like get out of here or else
That's
like
hilarious.
so the one couple that were there, they have a 1-year-old, I think. So they intentionally bring their pack and play to like put him to
Oh
bed
yeah.
upstairs. And then we just play games and hang out and stuff. And then they'll, just go get him and take him home when we're done. But they were like, we got to get this kid up and back home or else he's going to wake up and not want to go back to sleep because they weren't going to get home until like 4:45 in the morning.
Right. And your mom is probably like, you can just leave him. We'll take care of him in the morning. I feel like we should put some context into this Christmas party because I hadn't fully understood the context until this year.
You're thinking about coming to it.
I was thinking about coming to it, but I had a show that night, which was a bummer. But
the show was a bummer, or it was a bummer that you missed the party?
It was a bummer that
show?
they were at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. The context I feel that needs to be said is that Deidre gets Christmas ornaments and decorations out 4 weeks before this motherfucking party. Like,
yeah, because Thanksgiving was only a week or two before it, so.
Yeah, she spends 3 to 4 weeks decorating her house for Christmas, which is absolutely insane. But also, she does it because it's smart. She does it because she doesn't want to overwhelm herself. But there is a lot. And also, God bless your father, because he cares just as much about those decorations as your mother.
It's their time to do it together.
Yeah, and they do. He wrapped Christmas presents on the floor while he was watching football to put in the sleigh out in the front yard.
Normally we pack those up. They're not weatherproof enough over the season, I guess, to.
Yeah, I think that they just needed new ones,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, they have a Christmas cactus that he adjusted incorrectly, so your mother had to tell him how to adjust it. and
Mhm.
then they fought about it.
I
And
don't
well,
think
they
anybody
fixed.
took the ornaments off of the cactus to. I think a few people did, but we kind of forgot about it. Probably should have been by the door so people could grab it on the way out.
Oh yeah. But anyway, it's lovely, and I can't even imagine how many bowls of candy are there. Yeah.
Bowls of. Ironically, they didn't have many much rum actually. There was one little
Really,
bottle of white rum in like a half a bottle of
dark rum.
dark rum,
Yeah.
black rum from Bacardi, I think. So they need to up the rum game. They no shortage of whiskey and bourbon though.
No shortage. No.
Plenty of that to go around.
Yeah, I put some rum into your mom's eggnog, and she was very happy about it.
Oh,
So
really? Was
I
it the
think,
dark rum or the
yeah, it was the dark one.
the white
Yeah,
one? Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I have a few stories. Are you ready for my stories of the
Yeah,
week?
let's hear it.
Okay, here's a good one. Um, we'll save the big one for our topic today, but
Okay, good.
okay,
We're waiting to the end for that one. I like it.
okay. So
Space it out.
just so everybody knows, I got some new headphones. They're Bose. They're really nice. But getting these Bose headphones was quite the ordeal. And
Yes.
I don't think I told you because I wanted to tell you in person. Okay, so this is what happened. Okay, I ordered these headphones 3 weeks ago
But you
before,
had other headphones before these. These weren't the
right.
intended headphones. You kind of settled on these fancy headphones,
Yeah.
sort of, because the other ones
Well,
you didn't like.
well, and Ryan, you gave me a $150 budget. I'm gonna fucking use the budget.
No,
Anyway,
you went over the budget, but okay, go ahead.
I did not go over the budget because
Wheel talk
we,
money technically, but
yeah, but Wheel Talk only paid me $125. And the budget was $150 and I paid the rest. Anyway, moving on. Okay.
but the first pair you got was nowhere near that. They were like
That
$50
is
headphones.
that is very true. Okay, so Ryan gave me a budget of $150 to $100 for headphones, which I thought was going to be $75, so I was like, fuck. And then I ordered some headphones on Amazon and they came and one of the sides of the headphones didn't work. Okay, so then promptly, like literally one of the sides, like the left side just didn't work. And so then I
Looks like a
returned
plug wasn't in all the way or something, or
something. And then I returned the headphones and I looked it up online and that seems to be a common situation. Yeah, so I returned the headphones. And they also it felt like I was like being choked as well. Okay. Then,
I think those are Sennheisers or something like that.
yeah,
Sennheisers.
Sennheisers. Then I was like, "Oh, I forgot about Bose. I'll look up Bose, especially since it's near Black Friday." So I
They're the ones
looked up
I've got.
Bose
I've
and
got
he's
those.
got Ryan's got Bose. We know they're good. Obviously, it's Bose. And I was like, "Man, these are really cool headphones." And so I told Ryan, I found the headphones I want. I know they're over the budget, but I will pay $100 and then the wheel talk can pay the rest. And they were $220. They were refurbished, originally $379. I would say that's a pretty
Is this a
fucking
girl
good
math
deal.
thing? Like $375, so basically I saved $150. So
Well, they were refurbished, so they were refurbished price. Anyway, so I bought these headphones and I was like, this is exciting. They're going to come in a week or two, whatever. 2 weeks rolls by. I didn't really think about it much because it's Christmas time and things take longer to ship. And then, but my friend Merritt also got some headphones and she had gotten hers and she got some refurbished ones. And
just like they're still Bose and they were
yeah,
similar.
but
Yeah.
they were $200 instead of 220. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. I call Bose and they're like, well, actually, those headphones are out of stock. And I was like, they were in stock when I bought them. And they're like, nope, we don't have any more. And I was like, well, do you have any more that are brand new? And they're like, nope. And I was like, in neither color. And they're like, nope. And so they were out of stock everywhere. Okay. And I was like, here's the fucking deal. I'm not paying $260 for these headphones. I would like to pay the exact same price or less that I paid when I bought the refurbished headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, we can give you a 20% discount, which came to $260 for not the same pair of headphones, for a different pair of headphones. And then while this is happening, right, I am in the middle of this conversation with Juan. Okay. No, I think his name is Julio. I'm in the middle of this conversation with Julio. And he was super friendly. I'm not saying anything about Buzz. Super friendly. I get a text on my phone from my sister saying, call me now. And
1 second, Julio. I've got to make a phone call.
And so I am knee deep in this negotiation, right? Me and Julio have finally gotten to the point where he has offered me 30% off, which makes the headphones less than what I purchased them for. They're a different pair of headphones, but I'm like, that's fine. It's fine. What fucking ever. It's fine. And so I text my sister back and I say, I cannot call you back. I am on the phone. And she says, hang up the phone and call me now.
Oh my gosh. Obviously, I'm laughing because I know the end of the way the story turned out, but it could be a number of things.
And no, it's funny regardless. And so I was like, I'm still not hanging up the phone. What's going on? So I'm like texting her while I'm talking to Julio on speakerphone, right? And Sarah's listening to the whole fucking shebang. And I'm about to lose my fucking shit because this is just so. I've been on the phone for 45 minutes, right? And we're making the negotiation. I am reading my credit card information, and then my sister texts, Mom's in the ER. And I was like, okay, well, why? Why is she in the ER? Should I be worried? Do I need to get on a phone? Like, do I need to get on a plane? And she goes, well, she couldn't breathe this morning, and she thinks she has a blood clot, uh, and and blah blah blah. She goes, she's really scared, so on and so forth. And I was like, okay, where's Dad? You know, and I'm like texting her while I'm giving Julio my credit card information.
Yeah.
And this whole thing goes, anyway, my mom is in the hospital. They did some like a ton of tests. Turns out nothing's wrong with her. She was just exhausted and like, you know, she just needed to recoup, and she thought she had a blood clot in her leg. She didn't, but it's good that she went. At one point I told my sister, I was like, you need to take a breath. Like, take a deep breath. Like,
Yeah, that was the last
fine.
of the text that you showed
Yeah.
me.
I said, take a
You're
deep
like,
breath.
first off, take a deep breath.
And my sister tends to overreact, but she's very logical. So I'm not kidding when I say that I got a full on play by play of what happened. Like, if anybody needs exact information from a hospital, just call Elizabeth Otis. Like, that's
I'm
all you.
sure your dad was right there too, right? Would
He
that
was
be something that your dad would not call you in the moment about, but he would probably tell
absolutely,
you like a week later after she's out, and
absolutely. My
or
parents.
she would call you?
Yeah, my parents are the type of people that call me after the fact. Like, they texted me, my mom texted me that my Nana died a day after she died, and she texted it to me. Like, this is the type of family that I have, right? And so Betsy's like the only one that's like really emotionally bound. And so, like, she's like, no, you need to know now. And I was like, I don't need to know now because I'm in Indianapolis and I can't even talk to mom. So we're fine. Anyway, this whole ordeal happens, and then then I hang up the phone. I get the headphones. I got green ones. They're great. And then
So 30% off of
30%.
a more expensive pair, and they're better quality than the ones you were gonna
No,
get?
they were a little bit less expensive, but they were the only option, and they're just as good a quality, honestly, I think.
Because you
Uh,
said you went to the Best Buy or something to try some to
I
see
tried
what you were
these.
gonna get.
Yeah, I tried these ones on. I couldn't try the ones that I was gonna get on, but they said that the noise canceling of the ones that I was gonna get was way, way, way better. So, but it doesn't matter because after $200, aren't they all the same to a regular eared person? Probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean that's kind of why I was saying, Becca, I know how you are with technology and expensive purchases, and I feel like you will not value this in the way that it needs to be valued.
I
That's
will,
why
and
I was
I
nervous about you spending that much money on headphones when your last pair was $20.
Well, yeah, because they're pieces of shit and I just needed them at that time. But I researched this shit. It's fine. I've had
Oh,
them.
you should get a. I don't. Did it come with a case? Did it come with like a nice
Yeah,
case?
I got like my own little
Oh,
case.
nice, sweet. Okay, yeah,
Yeah. And it's got like everything in there and I've been doing great, man.
sweet.
I'm
Yeah,
fine.
you said you've loved them. You've been using them already.
I've been using them
Because you
and
didn't just get them for recording. You got them for using the studio and when
yeah.
you're out and about and stuff.
Because my AirPods really hurt my ears. And I've never lost my AirPods and I've never broke them. They've just gotten clay in them because of clay and they've had to replace them 3 times. But that's why I always get warranties.
That's a
Anyway,
good idea. So people, if you get clay in them, what do you say? Do you tell them something
it doesn't
specific?
matter if you get clay in them. You just say, "Hey, there's clay in these." And then you hand it to them. Can you test these for me? And they'll test them and then they'll be like, "Yeah, something's wrong with these." And then they'll give you a brand new pair.
How do they test them? Because they don't put them in their ears, right?
No, I think they put them into like an actual machine that tests them.
Oh, okay. They're
But
putting
yeah,
them
that's
into like
why
a simulated ear or something. Like, do these
something.
actually work like they should?
Yeah. I think they take like the rubber things off, but that's why I always buy things that have at least a 2-year warranty on them. And Bose has an extremely amazing customer service, so I've dealt with their customer service quite a bit. Uh,
Awesome. Thank you,
but
Julio.
yeah, thank you, Julio. But also, so my mom called me after she got home from the hospital and I was telling her, I was like, did you know that Betsy like called me while I was in a like a situation with Bose and she said like hang up and call me. And my mom's like, you didn't hang up the phone, did you? And I was like, no, of course not. And she was like, good.
She wanted you to get that deal.
Oh yeah, my mom wants me to get a deal over anything. And I was like, Mom, I was raised by you.
I mean,
Okay.
45 minutes, that's deep. Like,
Yeah, I
I don't
was
see you talking to anybody customer service for 45 minutes. Like,
I was deep in this.
fucking wanted to.
I was deep. I was deep in this conversation, and there was had vested interest.
Yeah, you would
So,
have had to start over with somebody else if
and
you called
Julio
back.
was doing great. He was fine. Couldn't spell for shit, but that's okay. Anyway, um,
Wow, you got it.
got it. So now I have the headphones, and of course the microphone's not working, which is great.
We'll get
Um,
all the variables together at some point.
maybe next week we'll figure it out.
You know, I was thinking back how long I've had these headphones. So I have the Bose Quiet Comfort 15, I think, or 10s or something. They're
And I
so
have the
old.
45s.
The 45s. Quiet Comfort 15. They don't even
I've
make
heard
these anymore. They're really old.
Yeah, I've heard those are like the OG. Like everybody fucking loved the Quiet Comfort
Yeah,
15s.
I got them in, I want to say 2014.
Yeah,
That's how long I've had these fucking things.
yeah.
I initially I think I got them used off of eBay too. I don't even think I got them brand new.
That tracks.
Or no, I think I got mine like it might have been a refurbished one or something. I got Rachel a set of them used off eBay. That's what I did.
Yeah,
So she's got the exact same pair. But I got them all the time because I was traveling to and from Florida for work all the time on planes,
yeah.
and that's the reason I got them.
Yeah, I think that these will be so much better for traveling. And like I've worn them for like multiple hours and they've been very comfortable. So I am very happy with the purchase. I do feel like I've kind of like gone through earbuds just because they've always just been so uncomfortable for me and I've never had an over the
Hmm.
earphones before, so super stoked.
Nice.
Yeah. Maybe we should get sponsored by Bose.
What are we gonna do with a Bose sponsorship? Are we gonna get mics? Are we gonna get new mics or something?
Yeah.
Studio headphones for your
Yeah.
clay needs, so people don't get clay. You can get clay all over these. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. 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 Some speakers so that people can listen to the podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
my grandpa had. I think he still has it. One of those Bose uh radios that's like kind of like a triangle. It's got like a rounded. It kind of looks like a
Nice.
pie piece from like Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
It's got the curved front. The
Nice.
thing's fucking, those things hold up.
Yeah. Bose is a great, great company. Um, okay, let us move on to the questions that we have today.
All right. We have one from Blue Nose Trading. I feel like she asked another one recently. I'm like, for some reason, I'm thinking we already asked this, but we didn't ask this because we did not answer it last time. Okay. It says, yeah, Blue Nose Trading, Tori Salas from Blue Nose Trading. What's the best way to ship out 60 or more packages? Do you need to contact the post office? Do you just show up with a mischievous smile? Would scheduling a post office home pickup thing, which I have never actually done, possibly be better? Question mark. Congrats on killing it this week, Becca. I don't know what week this was, but
So
maybe it was
this,
your.
yeah, this came after I like shipped out 80 packages, 80 some odd
Oh,
packages.
okay.
So, yeah. So if you're like Ryan, you take your little cart to the post office and walk it on down. But if you're like Becca, you definitely schedule a post office pickup.
Is it all USPS or UPS for you?
No, it's USPS.
Okay. Does it make a difference
So,
how you would handle this?
yes. So, a lot of times you can do it uh, through your carrier, like through whoever you're shipping out with. But I like to not do it that way because I don't trust that. And a lot of times, like if you're using Shippo or something like that, then it'll be like only one package was, and this way you can count them actually. So what you're going to do is you go to USPS and then under the send button, you just say schedule pickup. And it's just follow the bouncing dot, like, the bouncing ball from there. You just put in what address you're doing it, if it's a business address or if it's not a business address, and then you add in how many packages you have, approximate weight, and then you schedule the day. And
At your home.
yes, at your home or your business. I did it here at the business.
Okay.
So, and if what I say is if you're doing it at a business, this really only works well if you have a reliable postal service man or woman. If they are not reliable, it's really tough for
How do you know if they're reliable or not? Because usually you don't see them.
you don't see them. I've always known my postal people.
In this building that you're at right now, you know who the postal person is?
I met him, and once I met him, I was like, okay, I can do it. But also, like, you can see it going, like, we have packages down there, and they always get picked up, right? If they were, like, always sitting there and waiting, like, a long time, then I would be kind of, like, iffy. But I was pretty confident because one of the girls downstairs sends out candles all the time. So
Okay.
they're
That probably
finally,
works
like,
better in your favor having
yeah,
a reliable, because I mean, I would guess some postal people realize that, hey, this is helping like pay your job and also like keep me happy with you so that I'm gonna keep
yeah.
paying USPS to use your service. So like I get it's like kind of a nice thing to get it picked up, but it's also like part of the services you provide. So
Yeah, and I think that, like, yeah, it is part of the services. I mean, it puts work on the postal people one way or the other, right? You either go to the post office and you have a shit ton of packages and you're a bother, or you schedule a time and you say, hey, you can pick them up whenever, you know? Like,
and they know usually you have to do it for the next day, so they know when they schedule it. They I think it because I used to schedule it the night before, and I think it only lets you do it up until 10 p.m. the night before.
yeah, so you can schedule 2 days out or whatever. But yeah, now you at UPS charges. So I've never done a UPS pickup because I refuse to pay. So, but UPS charges. But I
Is it varied based on how many packages or how much weight or anything like that?
I don't know for sure. Let's
I would
see.
suspect it's one of those things that if you have 60 boxes, it's probably more beneficial to schedule a pickup than to
Yeah.
pay to have them come pick up 2 packages, you know?
Right. God damn it. Okay. Um. Oh, there's nothing that just says like how much it is. It doesn't really say how much it's gonna be, but it says want a free option? Drop off your package. Uh, but I think that yeah, so like you can schedule a pickup with UPS, and if it is a ton of them, it might be, it might be better to do it that way. Um,
I
we
would, yeah, for the post office, just USPS generally, I mean, I walk them up there and I kind of know the people that are there and they don't care how many or whatnot that I come in with. But if I did have 60, at one point I did take them back around to the loading dock area
yeah,
and they just had me load them into this big bin. Like, I think in 2020 I had a bunch of mystery boxes and we probably shipped out, I want to say 45 or so. And they were mystery boxes, so they were like decent size, like picture clay boxes, 45
yeah,
clay boxes that I was taking there. We loaded up the vehicle and was moving shit around. So that's kind of what I did. I just went in. If you got to wait in line, that's fine. Just say, hey, I've got a whole bunch of boxes. I've got 45 boxes. They're already paid for. I just need to drop them off. Is there something I can? Usually they'll give you a cart or they'll tell you to come around to the side and unload them into some
right,
area so you're not holding up the line as well as just going in and out with a
yeah.
cart or whatever.
Just make sure they're all scanned. Oh my God. I mean, not scanned, but like paid for. Make sure you're printing your labels at home if you're going to do this. Like, do not take
Oh yeah,
60
fuck, don't do that.
packages to the post office
You're
and
gonna pay more to pay for them at the post office anyways
yeah,
than to use a shippo or we're assuming you're doing that. You have some on. I don't know why anybody
yeah,
would. I mean, unless you don't ship
yeah.
pieces and you're shipping
Also,
to your whoever. But
on this point, we just experienced this situation. On on this point, um, UPS provides free labels to people that have a business, so you can create a UPS business account with them, and then they'll ship you a box of free labels. And we got a 35-pound box of labels.
oh, what? I just bought some labels.
I already told you could do this. Are you fucking kidding
I
me?
think so, but I did not follow through on that.
Well, why did you buy? Where'd you buy them from?
Amazon.
Should return them.
Are there 4x6 labels that you got?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to show you how many there are. Just in the one sleeve. It came with two.
Oh my god. Obviously, I'm assuming these are 4x6 thermal printer labels. Holy shit. And they're okay, so it looks like they're stacked. They're not rolls, which is good because I prefer the stacked ones over the rolls. I
So
prefer
they
the
have
stacked ones.
stacks. They have rolls too, but I think that the rolls, if you get a roll, you only get one roll, and if you get stacks, you get 15,000 labels.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I ordered some from Amazon. I don't know how many I have right now, but you're gonna get here in a few days, so I don't think I have.
Yeah, I can bring you some.
Okay, bring me some.
I'm not going to bring you the whole stack. You have to do your own thing. It took me and Sarah. Sarah deserves these stacks. It took me and Sarah a week to figure
No,
out the
yeah, I
UPS.
just ordered a stack of I think 500 or 1,000
Yeah.
off
So,
Amazon for $20.
yeah, definitely stop paying for fucking labels. Buy them from UPS.
You're not buying
Yeah.
them though. You just said
I
that
mean,
they're free.
yeah, they're free. Ship them from UPS. They're free. So anyway, that's your tip of the day, and that's very easy to just create a business account and then, or you can just look up free shipping supplies UPS and it'll walk you through it. Just make sure you put the right address in immediately. Like when it was like, what's your address? I should have put 201 South Rural. Instead, I put Memphis. And so I actually shipped mine to Memphis. And they're there in the garage. Uh, and Sarah put a different address as well. And so, and it was a pain. But anyway, just make sure you put the right fucking address. Okay.
We'll see if it canceled it. I just tried to cancel it. We'll see.
Sweet.
It says it was going to be here in 2 days because I just ordered it earlier today. So.
Oh, you could probably cancel it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it showed as shipped, so that's good. Okay. UPS labels. Oh yeah. Okay. Good. Good on you for getting 60 boxes if you had that, Tori. Or
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in the situation where I've shipped out that many and done updates where I sell that many since that one time when I did the mystery boxes during COVID. So, I mean, at max, I'm gonna walk. I mean, over a weekend, I've maybe walked 20.
Yeah.
But they're on a cart, and it's not that bad. And they always have two lines, and they have one side that's closed every day, so they switch registers. So I just walk up to the one side and just put them on the counter.
Yeah.
Even if there's a line, and they'll get to them. So it's not that big of a nuisance to do that. But okay, shall I read the next one?
I can read the next one. You read the first one.
Okay.
Okay. It says, I just finished a 3-day holiday show at a brewery. Best sales to date, to praise hands, and received an email from a customer that bought 2 of my carved winter mugs. This is why I don't sign my mugs, by the way. She said when she unwrapped them the following day, she saw one of them had chipped. She mentioned she was very careful with the bag and knew I wrapped them up, but asked if there was any way I would replace the mug for her. And she said that she could maybe pay for shipping. Have you come across this before, and how did you handle it? Does the type of item play a factor into your response? I'm reading this like she wants the replacement for free. Would you make a free replacement for the sake of keeping a positive customer experience / return orders versus customer having negative experience, even if based on false expectations that could leave a bad review, etc.? Context. Notes. These mugs sold out, so I'd be making another for her specifically. She spent $105 with me before tax. I'm reading this like she wants replacement for free. Oh, I think that was a duplicate.
Probably a duplicate part, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the mug.
She sent a photo of it.
Yeah, it looks like a, it's cute. It's got like white glaze on the top, and then it has like carved snowflakes in it. Very cute. Alrighty.
That's from Moonlight_Mud.
Yeah, Moonlight_Mud.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a seasonal item too, so you're probably not making that all year. Yeah. So I think we responded to her. I know I did. And
good.
I was basically saying, hey, I think she already decided what she was going to do, but she made a replacement for her.
Oh, she did.
And I think she was offering to have her pay for shipping to help out. But given the customer reasonable expectations, because obviously it's a crazy time of year, so don't go out of your way to make a ridiculous timeline to replace this, but add it into your list of things you need to get done and give her a reasonable timeline. If it's normally 4 weeks and you need 6 weeks, just tell her 6 weeks or whatever, and get a few extra made if you need to make 2 more than what you make to replace hers, and just sell the 2 extras to somebody. I'm sure somebody else would get them. But yeah, I would definitely make more than you need, because it's gonna loom if you have to make it. Something happens and you got to make it again. So I would suggest making more than you need, and then also, I mean, if you can't handle it and you don't want to take on the thing, just offer to give her a refund on that mug.
Yeah.
And let her keep it, or you can take it back. It doesn't matter. But
yeah, it's so hard. Like this close to Christmas, it'd be like, I do.
If it was a gift, I would not. I would just give her a refund probably on the one mug.
I do a refund almost immediately. I've had two instances what kind of similar to this, but probably the same cost, maybe a little bit less. And like one person broke an earring like while she was taking it out of the bag, and uh
Oh, it like fall on the ground or something, and
yeah, and then one
oh,
person, her girlfriend, broke it like the day after a show. And the one where her girlfriend broke it, I was driving right by her house anyway, so I just dropped a pair off, and she chose a different color. Like I didn't have that exact same color. The other one wanted that exact same color, and I said, "Yeah, I'm more than happy to make them if you could split the cost with me and just do half
pay
price."
half price.
Or I think it might have even been like $10. Like, just do $10, $15 with shipping.
And the
Like,
main reason you're doing that is just to show a little effort from their side to commit to wanting it, or
yeah, and
was it
just to
to
like pay
pay
for your
yourself?
time. Yeah, because
Yeah,
like in that particular situation, I had to like make a whole new one, like make it completely different, like So yeah,
because I was also comparing this. I was asking her, would you have replaced the mug if it broke in shipping? If it was the same circumstance, they paid the money, but you shipped it versus
yeah,
them taking it home from a show. Uh, and I think she said the same thing. She would probably treat it the same way. She would replace it or refund it if it was shipped and broke in transit. I get
yeah,
it, like it's on them once you hand it to them,
yeah,
but for like customer service wise,
yeah. It's such a gray area that's hard to know.
and if it seems genuine, like they don't want it to
Right.
be, they don't want to chip it, but you know how you packed it too, so I don't, you know, usually when I pack stuff like mugs, I'll put them bottom side down so they're not like on their side, and then if somebody like drops it on the ground, it's not going right on the side, the
Yeah.
rim of the mug, which is probably the most fragile side. The bottom is a little more strong than the rim, so like standing them upright and making sure your bags are big enough to do that.
Yeah. And just like make sure your wrapping is thick enough and all as well.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, speaking of customers,
Hmm.
should we get to our topic for the day?
Do you want to talk about something else first?
Oh, I guess we could do that.
Becca, we've been out of the game for a bit. I feel like it's we got to get our bearings again.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I just replaced the elements in my kiln today, and when I was pulling those elements out, I could not tell you how much I wanted those motherfucking element holders
Yeah, from the LNLs.
from the
Because yours is
L&Ls.
not an LNL.
No, mine is not.
And I would
It
suspect
is.
most kilns are like yours, where they have the brick and the elements sink down in the brick, and you've got to pull them out carefully to not disturb too much of the brick and cause a
Yeah, but I'll
big
tell you
mess.
what, there was a shit ton of bricks all over the floor after I pulled them out. It was not a pretty sight. There was a lot of cussing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful. So, I'm glad I did it yesterday and then I replaced the elements today. I had a good break.
Did you? What sparked you to do it? Was it the kiln failed, or you were just like, oh, it's time. Like we've got to do this before I leave town.
It was time. The kiln had 200 firings on it, and a fast bisque was like 9 hours.
What's a typical fast bisque for a new set?
Like 6.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a big difference.
I did a fast glaze. I think we did a fast glaze, and it was like 10 hours. And I just did a fast glaze to bisque temp, and it was 3 hours and 50 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. But, it was good. I learned how, I mean, like, I knew this, but if I didn't know this, I would know to vent off all of my elements because I would go to hotkilns.com and look at the information that they have on their website on how to replace the elements, how to replace the thermocouple, how to vent out, like what to do after you put the elements in. It's like the most comprehensive website I've ever seen in my life as far as like information on how to do things, which is
Whether you have
awesome.
an L&L or not.
Right, which I don't. I have a Conart. So we will not be speaking ill of the Conart except for the very tight elements. But
Yes.
because I still love my kiln, I don't care. Um, anyway, but yeah, it's just like anything I need to know, like how to take the lid off of the kiln, how to make sure that spring is like not loaded to
Yeah,
cut your arm off.
yeah, if you need to take the spring out so you can move the kiln or
Yeah, anything, it's there to tell you how to do it. And so that's what's like the coolest thing. Also, shout out to who emailed us this last week and told us that they bought an L&L kiln because
I don't remember. Somebody messaged us on Instagram. Thank you all for doing that. I think we've got 2 or 3 people that have told us
yeah,
that.
it pretty much made our year that you guys have been buying L&Ls because we endorse them, and that's pretty cool. And we would not
Oh, I can read it. Do you want me to read it?
yeah.
Sarah Catherine Clay. She said, "Hello, I just listened to your latest episode. You guys were talking about if you may have sold an L&L due to your advertising, and I wanted to let you know you did. Thanks to your reviews and other research, I decided to buy an L&L kiln. It will be arriving mid-January. Thanks for all your help with the siding." Sarah
Um,
Catherine Clay.
That's so stinking exciting. Also, if you are going to buy a kiln, I think that usually before January is the best time because typically almost every single kiln company raises their prices January 1st. So, just so you know.
You know what? She's in New Jersey, so that's like fucking
That's like
right
right
there.
there.
Yeah,
She
I
could just
see.
go up and get it.
She's already got 2 kilns. I see with the red boxes. She's got a small one,
Oh, nice.
like a baby kiln, and a bigger one that's probably like a 7 cubic foot
Nice.
red box kiln. So.
Thou shalt not be named.
Yeah. So it's hard because we can't track how many people are getting it from us talking
Yeah,
about it. But
and here's the deal. This is how cool L&L is, really honestly. I asked if we could get a coupon code from L&L and they were like, "We can't just because." And I was like, "It'd be cool if our customers could buy directly from you instead of getting it from Clay King for like a quarter of the price or whatever."
a
And they were like,
distributor, another distributor or
a
whatever.
distributor, and they were like, "We wish we could, but if we gave you a coupon code, then we would be competing with our distributors." And I think that's a pretty stand-up response.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kind of
they're
similar to what Henrik was talking about with the
yeah,
from the conference and saying like, hey, this kiln is still working its way up. So like,
yeah.
hey, you should wait for
You
this, you
should
know.
wait. Yeah, like I think that's really good ethics on their part, and that makes me pretty proud. Also, what makes me pretty proud, this has nothing to do with that, but Dimitri, who is our contact for L&L, he's the I don't is he like the vice president?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because he's the son of the owner. Um, he went to a ceramic shop like open house or whatever, and Megan from
At the ceramic shop.
Speedball,
Yeah, he told me
yeah,
about this.
yeah, and Megan from Speedball was there, and she was wearing my earrings, and he recognized them. That was cool.
And she
And she,
shouted me out too, I think, because I was like, he said that they went to, it was at the ceramic shop.
yeah,
Open house is what it was. Yeah, there's a bunch of distributors and Speedball and some other folks there. And he was like, yeah, there was somebody there from Speedball that knew you that was saying good things. And I was like calling out names. I was like, was it Dell? Was it Kelly? Was it? And he was like, no, it was somebody from Durham. I was like, oh, it must have been Megan. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And so he was like, it was really cool to see that she was wearing your earrings, and I was like, oh, thanks. So anyway, where can you find all your hot kiln needs?
Hotkilns.com.
Hotkilns.com. You know what that comes from, right?
No.
Hot pocket.
Jim Gaffigan.
Yes.
Pocket.
Hot Pocket. Okay, well, speaking of our sponsors, apparently we've been ratted out to our sponsors about how terrible we are. Our
This is leading into our topic for today.
This is leading into our topic today, which is how to deal with disgruntled people, customers, people that know you, that may spread lies about you, that may threaten things upon you. This week we received an email, and I will read it out loud to you all. I mean, are you good with that?
That's fine. I don't care.
Cool.
I mean, we had to do some investigating to know what the hell they were talking about.
Oh,
or what
yeah.
they potentially were talking about, but we didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't iron it out with them to confirm, but I suspect this is what they were talking about.
Yes. So, this has no context to it, by the way. Okay, it reads, "Hey, Flacco."
Subject?
What?
What's the subject on it?
Oh, one more lost listener. Okay, it says, "Hey, Flacco, ditch the crude mouth, try a salad, and learn the English language. Spigot, are you serious? I am also writing your sponsors and sending them clips of your fucking foul mouth. I understand the lack of self-confidence, but using language to offset it, salad works so much better. Just a tip. Later, Albert."
I didn't know he said fucking in there. He said fucking?
He did say fucking.
Oh, okay.
Which is so funny. Okay.
Are you gonna read the response, or?
I will read the response. I got to this email before Ryan did, which
So what I did was I saw it come across, but I assumed it was spam from like the subject line or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't read it, and then you replied, and I was like, oh, I probably do need to read this and see what it actually says.
What's really funny is that I misspelled something in this one, which makes it even better. Okay, I said, "Hello, Albert. Thanks for your feedback. I'll definitely let HR know about our foul mouths, but I accidentally spelled foul, Fowl.
See, I thought that was the correct way when you wrote it, and I'm like, oh, I should probably, when you just said that, I was like, oh, I should probably know. I was a little questionable about that word when I saw it.
Yeah, and I said, "Just a reminder that you don't actually have to listen. I'll be sending our sponsors a message to keep an eye out for your message. Thank you for delivering me a great laugh today. Peace and blessings to you and yours. P.S. I'll have to look into this salad you speak of. Wow, what a revelation." And then I signed it Flacco. And then he said, "Deal. Listening stopped. Review posted. Opinion spread. One of your sponsors already wrote back and wasn't happy. Good luck with that." Which is funny because we only have one. And upon this email,
He wrote back like immediately after you replied, so
right.
That was within, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Yeah, and upon this email, I had already sent an email to L&L, who is our only sponsor, and let them know what was happening, just in case something did come up. Anyway, a few things that we should note that, one, Flacco apparently means skinny in Spanish. I don't know if it's a slang term for something else.
It said, the one I looked up said skinny / fatty for, what did it say?
Like a term of endearment.
Endearment, but I'm like, how is that a term of endearment to say it like that?
It's like, "What up, fatty?" Anyway.
So confusing.
It says,
I assumed it was a typo. I assumed it was supposed to say Becca or something, and it got typoed, but
I don't know. We're also assuming that maybe this is not Albert's, English might not be Albert's first language.
yeah.
I think. So he said, "And learn English. Spigot, are you serious?" I had no freaking clue what he was talking about when he said this, and I think we figured it out. So, I was talking to a friend, and she said that is very close to a slang derogatory term to people of the Mexican persuasion. I guess they're not persuaded to be Mexican, but
Mexican descent, not persuasion.
and anyway, to Mexicans or Spanish speaking people maybe, and we think that it came from us talking about how Ryan has a spigot in
In
his
my
basement.
studio, we were talking about cleaning studios, and
We were talking about cleaning studios.
I say spigot instead of spigot.
Because we both grew up saying spigot. I also say pillow. I don't know what to tell you.
And contextually, it obviously makes sense what we're talking about, unless you just don't know what a spigot is.
Yeah. At first, I thought that he was doing. I thought that he was. It was like a fat. I don't know what the salad.
I thought it was something you would have said or something, because I'm like, I don't remember this, but.
I would never say anything like that derogatory about anybody. I'm not even going to say anything derogatory about Sir Albert. But anyway, I died laughing when I read this.
I was just confused. I was like, what's going on here?
Sarah was much more concerned for me than I was. We thought that it was like it says, like, when it says, I understand the lack of self-confidence, but using language to offset it, salad works so much better. Just a tip.
What is the salad comment? Obviously, you were thinking he was talking because of the Flacco thing. You were thinking
like a fat shaming situation.
But I don't know. But you weren't the one that said it as much in that discussion. I mean, you brought it up, but I said it like 3 times in that discussion.
We said it quite a bit, but also we were talking about a hose connector.
The water, the water faucet.
Water connector. Like, completely not. Like, this was taken, apparently it was taken out of context significantly. And so, yes. So, it's like, how like, what do you do in a situation like this where it's somebody who's seriously frustrated with something that you did and maybe doesn't really understand the context of what happened, or maybe they just like heard the word and didn't hear anything else, or you don't know the situation of how they heard it. Right.
Are they an avid listener? Did they randomly stumble upon it? Did somebody else listen to it and they sent it to them? Or why would they send it to them? Like, well, is it the accent? Is it the regional thing of like not knowing what the word is? Is it
right? Like, there's no context for this. Like, it's, obviously if he was upset, we would love to have an email that says like, hey, I was just listening to your podcast recently and noticed that you said this, and I'd like to let you know that that is inappropriate and you should edit it, blah 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 blah. If it was something serious, and then we could talk about it in an intellectual manner. But instead, this was sent, and then I got to the email first, so it was not sent back in a professional way.
But you confirmed with me what you were going to say before you sent it.
I did confirm. Ryan.
Becca's kind of read it a second time, or like not quite sleep on it before you send it, but like confer with me before you send it.
Well, yeah, this is our thing. I'm not going to like set off something that's like potentially damaging to somebody or rude without confirming my rudeness, but like, I think it's important to have this kind of conversation to talk about like, what do you do like in a situation like this? Like, let's say that it was a real situation where we had multiple sponsors and somebody sent us this and was like, I'm telling all your sponsors, and like, I think my action of like sending the actual email to our sponsors to let them know it was happening was the right thing to do. But
yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was assuming they were doing it in a way to kind of bully us into doing something, or they just wanted the worry from us to say, "Ooh, don't do that," and like back down.
Yeah.
Because it's like, "Oh no, don't tell them." It's like, I'm telling your mom I'm gonna tell your
Right.
mom about that.
Right. Exactly. And like, and what kind of like, I guess, what applicable situation does a normal everyday Potter have on this? I was thinking about, even small situations where, you posted a reel. Can you talk about what happened about
Oh,
the,
the mug.
yeah.
Okay, so I posted my mug of the Monday mug, whatever. Hey, today's Monday. I'm gonna post a mug like I always do every single Monday for the last year and a half. And then it ballooned up and is now at 3.2 million views.
Wow.
And I'm trying to do this without. Oh, there we go. And you get, when you get to a certain point of people seeing it, you're gonna get people that are kind of trolls that'll come in here and say some shit. And I'm trying to see what they said. Something about you picked the most boring mug.
Oh, your mug collection is really boring. You have boring
Picked the
taste.
most uninteresting one. That was one. And then somebody else said something else. Shit, there's so many comments on here, it's hard to find it. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't pull this up. I didn't know she was going to ask me about this.
No, you don't have to read it exactly.
Oh, I mean, it was basically like, really, that's the one you picked or something like that.
Well, your
And
taste in mugs is really boring.
yeah,
And how did you reply?
you have the most boring mugs. What the fuck, dude? That's what they said. It
Yeah.
got 20, 30 comments. My response was, thanks for the feedback.
Yeah. That was it.
And then all these people basically pile on to them and be like, "Are you kidding me? Like, this is my dream mug collection. Please tell me you're joking." And other people are like, that was mean for no reason. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
And then I'm just like playing it off and laughing it off because this person probably does not follow me. They don't they don't know, whatever. People have different taste in mugs, so it's like, who cares
Yeah.
what this one person said that said my mugs are boring? I'm about to pin that comment or something and be like, thanks.
It's such a small
I
thing,
mean,
but
it's
I
not even my mug, too.
true. It's such a small thing, but I think that like over time and when you're on like the internet or if somewhat of a public figure or something goes viral or anything like that, you constantly are getting berated with messages and I think that it takes time to become numb to that kind of stuff. Like if I had gotten that email that we got from Albert uh 5 years ago, I think that it would have affected me a hell of a lot differently than it did now. Like I can look at that, even if it was directly like pointed at me, like even if it was something that was like fat shaming or whatever, I can look at that and be like, ha, like you don't know me, thanks, versus like years and years ago, I probably would have been like, oh my God, it's all about me, constantly thinking about it. Even if I like played it off, I would have been like thinking about it and stewing
Right.
about it. And now that none of that happens, it's more just like, hey, did you see this email we got? Like, and I think that people, people I showed were like, you don't deserve that, blah, blah, blah. And like, kind of coming at it like I was offended by it. And we're not. Like,
Mhm.
Um, and like, how do you think that you separate your like emotions in that particular
Yeah.
situation?
I was right. I wrote a note down of what kind of my takeaway for those situations are, and somebody else said this, and I hear this multiple times from different people for different situations. But just in this age, there's so many strangers that are on the internet. So the main thing that I care about, and the question I would ask myself is, do I genuinely value the input of that person?
Yeah.
And then also, would I ask advice from them?
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer is no, then I should put zero care about what that person has to say.
Okay, I agree. I agree. Do you think that there's sometimes still times that like it just like lingers in your mind?
Oh yeah,
That's
it can linger.
what do you do to like help it not linger, do you think?
I mean, I can tend to I tend to often go to there's many different reasons why somebody could are we doing like social media side of thing?
Well, like let's say something's lingering with you that you're just like overthinking about and you just like can't get out of your brain. What are you gonna do? Like, do you talk to Rachel about it? Do you just like
Talk to Rachel, yeah. Talk to
do you
Rachel.
like trauma dump it? Yeah.
I could ask you about it, ask
Yeah.
for some insight. There was the recent situation with somebody on Etsy bought something and did local pickup. They weren't local, and I kept reaching out to them to be like, "Hey, like you picked this, you're not local, it's going to this place. Like, let me know because I would love to have you come pick it up, but what's going on? You didn't pay for shipping, and I don't want to be out a big chunk of money, not a big chunk, but I don't want to pay the shipping when you're supposed to pay the shipping if I'm
Yeah.
actually going to ship it." And I was thinking about it, and I reached out to Etsy. I even reached out to this person by email. I reached out to him like 3 times over like 3 or 4 days. Etsy was basically like, "Hey, here's what you can do. Reach out by email," which for one, I didn't even know Etsy provided the email of your customers on Etsy. I didn't realize you can see that, but you can't.
Oh.
You can see it on the customer side. You can like hover over their name and it shows their email. Didn't know that was a thing. And so I learned that. And then number two, they were basically saying, hey, you can have them create a custom listing just for them, a private listing to pay for shipping. If they confirm and they say, oh, I'm sorry about that, I would like to pay for shipping, you can do that.
Yeah.
Make them pay for that separately. And then you could also refund the money. And then if you want them to buy it again, they can buy it. And just let them know if you're going to cancel it.
Yeah.
So I asked Becca. I was expecting Becca was going to be like, don't be a cheap ass. Just pay. Like, you can afford shipping. Just ship it.
No.
But you were like, no, you hold that bitch. Like, don't send it out. Don't release it until they say something or they pay for shipping. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I ended up canceling the order and letting them know by email and by messages. I gave them plenty of time. And you were
Mhm.
thinking, oh, they probably just did that because they saw local pickup and they wanted to save money
Yeah.
and that you would just do it. So,
Yeah. And I mean, that's really the right thing to do is just to cancel the order and be like, hey, I canceled this, but I'm more than happy to do it, like do another
right.
order with you. Just
Yeah,
so
and I
that we can
replied in
do
a
it.
good way. I wasn't like, hey, I
Right.
canceled this order because you didn't pay for shipping. Thanks.
Yeah. But they didn't really talk to you. I'm going to let you drink some water so you can get those hiccups gone.
I don't have hiccups.
You did have hiccups. I I feel like when something like that happens to me that like it keeps lingering, my first response is to like talk to my friends and joke about it. This is not one of those scenarios. I think it's absolutely hilarious, and I'm not like the only thing that I'm
You're talking
thinking
about the
about.
Albert scenario?
Yeah, the Albert scenario is different. The only thing that I'm thinking about the Albert scenario is that I feel like we should reach out to him and be like, "Did you know that Spigot is a hose connector?"
I don't,
Like,
I don't see. I was on the fence about because once I discovered that's what I think he's talking about, I was on the
yeah,
fence about whether we should even reply because I feel like that conversation ended. And if we brought that back up, he would double down on his,
right, yeah, yeah, exactly.
and
And
it would just
so,
stew in our minds more
right,
rather
and
than kind of like
that's
we had closure.
right, and I'm like comfortable with it. And obviously, we only have one sponsor, and they're behind us all the way, and they know that we cuss. Anyway, um, and like the only thing that I see is him doing like a review or whatever that might negatively impact us. But if it's something that's a little bit more personable, like somebody being a total bitch at a show or something that is like very connected to me, like personally, I think that I tend to like reach out to like Andrew or Val or Maybe you, but probably Rachel.
Probably not me. Yeah.
Yeah, probably Rachel, and just be like, "This happened," and like just like dump all of this information, and then once it's dumped, I'm done. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm usually
and
like,
like,
okay, what was the circumstance of when this happened? Like, what's
right?
going on? I'm trying to get myself in the
Yeah,
moment, and you're like, I just want to vent. I don't want to put myself back in that moment and give you all these details that don't matter.
yeah. I'm like, right, just listen to me. But yeah, I think that that's like one of the ways, and over the years, it's one of the ways that I've learned how to kind of like let go of situations like that. But also, I do think that it's normal to have human feelings, and like if somebody threatens you or is mean to you on the internet, it's normal to be like, man, you suck.
Yeah.
You
There was
know?
one other response on the mug one that I wanted to read that was a I feel like it netted a good interaction when it started bad. And the comment was, "You're gonna lose all those mugs one day with that janky ass shelf."
Yeah.
And my response was, "Thanks for your feedback." And then his response was almost immediately was, "I'm not being a hater. I'm a carpenter, and that shelf is coming off the wall in the first seconds of the video." And then I replied, "I guess I'll have to look at it when I change everything over in the new year. What do you suggest besides rebuilding the whole thing?" He didn't reply to that, but he did comment on the other video of like me showing putting the shelf up. So the takeaway for me was, okay, I probably do need to reinforce this a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it started like he could have worded that a much better way that was not
Yeah.
that because it was basically a shot at the shelf, which I built and I'm proud of. But
Yeah.
also I'm like, okay, like maybe there's something here. And then he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I'm a carpenter." He could have said, "Hey, I'm a carpenter. I'm just concerned about your shelf because of all the weight. You should think about reinforcing it with more
Yeah.
brackets
Yeah.
rather than
For
coming
sure.
out hot with like, that's a janky ass shelf and you're going to lose everything."
That kind of reminds me of that time that I told that guy in the middle of winter that he wasn't wearing a shirt, and it was January, and
Wasn't wearing a shirt?
there was a guy throwing, and he was shirtless, and it was the middle of January,
Uh,
and I was like, bro, it's January. And I was the asshole in this particular scenario. But then I don't know if I ever shared this, but the I shared what happened, but um he like came back at me with like a snide comment, and then I came back at him and
These were all public comments.
public comments, and then I finally basically said like, well, it doesn't really matter because I only follow people that I actually like admire. And then I deleted that comment, and then the full comments, you know. I deleted all the comments, and then I think I blocked him, and just because I wanted to be done with the conversation. And that motherfucker found me on Facebook and sent me a message, and I saw it 2 weeks later.
He definitely saw that last comment.
Probably. I hope he did. He was a jerk. Anyway,
I mean, you came in pretty jerky to start, but you're saying his responses back and forth were
well,
jerky?
here's the thing. I came in pretty jerky, and then when he was all like smash, 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 I was like, I didn't apologize, but I backed off. You know, I tried to make it a little bit better, and then he was like, "Fuck you. You knew what you were doing." Blah 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 blah. And so then I was like, "Well, fine. You want it? I'll give it to you." And so it was probably, and you know what? The first comment I made at like 2 a.m. at late night, I
See,
was
it's one of those
probably,
things where you don't know if, I mean,
yep,
the dude janky ass shelf comment, he probably didn't even think I was going to look at that comment.
right,
Some
exactly.
of these you leave them and you're like, they're drowning in comments. Like, there's no way they're going to see that.
Right. And like, and,
And when I
you know,
respond, he's like, oh, I just need to give credibility to what I said. It's like,
right.
okay.
And do I wish that I would have handled that situation differently? Obviously. Am I upset that I told him it was January when he had his shirt off? No, because I needed to say it, because I'm pissed about people always taking their shirts off in the middle of fucking winter just to show their goddamn abs that nobody cares about. Anyway.
You wearing like a toboggan with it or
I don't know. It was
a
ridiculous.
scarf? You wear a scarf, cover the neck, make sure your neck's nice and warm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. A little bow tie. Anyway,
Oh, your nose mitten. Your nose
a
mitten.
nose mitten. That's a great idea. Um, God damn it.
You
Now I'm
use the
like,
nose mitten.
he should have a little nipple
Oh.
mitten. Little nipple mittens. Little bikini for
Sure,
his
that's a
nips.
thing.
Anyway, I'm not gonna say who it was anyway. And no one will ever know because I forgot his name. So, I just think that it's important for people to know that this happens and it's like gonna be fine, you know? Sometimes something like this happens and it's really emotional or really like jarring in the moment and you think that something crazy is going to come out of it, but if you're upfront to all the people that may be affected, I think that it's going to be fine, you know?
Yeah, I think I feel like I also heard this today too. Something about you shouldn't, just like you shouldn't put weight in negative comments about you, you shouldn't put weight in like all the positive comments about you. Like relying on other people to validate what you're doing.
Mm,
Like you should base what you want to do and how you feel about it on
yourself.
yourself and internally, and what you're putting out there and how you feel about it. Are you proud of what you're doing and what you're making or what you're posting, or do you need that validation in order for you to feel proud of it?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It definitely won't be the last negative review that we get.
Yeah.
And it's not the first.
No.
JW17
JW17 started off.
started off. And you know what? This one might show up on a t-shirt. You never know.
Yeah. Do you think he hears this? Is he gonna hear this?
No, he said he stopped listening.
Do you think he
But
did? I mean, it's probably good that we didn't mention that we're gonna mention it. I
true.
would guess. I would guess he probably doesn't listen regularly. So
Well, it's not like we've said anything bad. We just said what happened.
yeah.
And I mean, if he does listen, then maybe he knows that there was context. Well, maybe he didn't listen to the context. And that, something that we had no ill feelings or even
I mean, some
knowledge.
people hear what they want to hear,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That
and
is also
obviously,
another thing too. Some people do hear what they want to hear, and there's no fighting it. There's no fighting it, and
yeah.
there's nothing that will be changed. And I think that that's a valuable lesson, just in business ownership, just generally.
Or even hear what they want. Like some people take a situation for how they think it went, but to you, like just like some people could think that there's like ill will and there's a reason and like a whole you know influence of why a decision was made or something was done, but it's like it could have just been an oversight or a misunderstanding or
Yeah,
something so simple that you're reading too much into this. And yeah, I think with the business side of it, like being as honest as you can, whether it's a just like I try not like if it's a customer situation or something delivering, and like I try not to make excuses for things of like
mm,
why I couldn't do something, but just be honest with them. Hey, this is what happened. Maybe you don't need to get super technical, but you could say this is what happened and here's the solution. Here's what I'm going to do to remedy it. Here's when I can deliver this, rather than
right.
saying here's what happened, I can't deliver, I'll let you know. Like that leaves uncertainty.
Yeah,
But if you come in honest and say here's what's up and here's what I'm doing to make it right, I think they can respect that and they'll honor that. But if you try to like sneak something by them and think they won't notice, that's when I feel like you can get caught with
yeah,
like bad, little not shady, but like a little iffy business practice.
yeah. Like, just make sure you're doing your, like, having your business. Make sure you have integrity. you know? Like, integrity is extremely important within business practices, and it matters in situations like this because, you know, if we didn't have integrity, like, we could have said something off the cuff, you know? But we do.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing? You cleaning out your needle?
I'm cleaning out this nozzle. Yeah, but we do. And so there was no question of like whether or not, you know,
Yeah, it was
something
just
was up.
confusion. It's like, but also like coming in with that, you don't know like you could ask all these follow-up questions, but
Yeah. I
I
think
don't know that it
your
would have helped. I mean, I kind of tracked it down from the little context clues that I could, but
yeah, and it didn't take until I shared it with another friend who's a business owner who was like, "I think that's what he meant." And I was like, "Really?" And but yeah, like and coming in hot, you know, sometimes you can't, like you said, they listen to certain things and sometimes you can't change that. And if they're coming in hot, sometimes you have to reply hotly back.
yeah, I feel like yours was mild to medium.
It was
I don't
mild
think
to
it was too
medium.
hot, but
I could have been a hell of a lot hotter. Um
yeah.
but it, yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely, I mean, I'm representing us both here.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, definitely you gotta,
Yeah, my response would have been kill him with kindness kind of thing and been
yeah.
like, thanks for your feedback. I don't really know what you're talking about exactly.
Yeah. And you would have like gotten into like a 20 email conversation.
No, no, I don't
Like,
think so. I probably would have rubbed it off and just been like, okay.
okay. Well, you probably wouldn't have responded because you thought it was a spam email anyway.
Well, no, that was just when I saw it pop up on the little like preview bubble
Oh,
on my phone.
yeah.
I didn't actually go to the email just yet to see that, but yeah. Have you got anything or would it be different if it was not an individual customer, but it was a maybe a business or something that you've worked with, or somebody that holds
Ooh.
a little more status in your mind than an individual customer that may not have as much weight in that kind of
Right,
balance
right,
there?
right. Like let's say it's a customer that's a wholesale customer that has a lot of flack, or it's a show producer, somebody who talks to other show people.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I'd be tail between my legs, figuring out what the fuck was wrong. Like,
Yeah. Would you uh,
I
would there
don't
be a
think that it
situation
would
where
have.
you would like get on a phone call with them or something if it was
Oh, for
somebody like that?
sure, for
Yeah.
sure. But I don't think that it would affect me in the way that it used to affect me. You know. So one time in college, I was friends with this guy who he was an amazing artist, and he did his senior project in 3 days. The painting part in 3 days, and he and I worked at the gallery. And I mean, like, I'm 22, right? 2022, something like 21. And so he worked at the gallery, and some of the teachers came in, they were looking at a senior project, and one of them was like, I just can't believe he fucking did this in 3 days. Like, what the fuck? And I just casually kind of like texted him and was like, yeah, Babs is kind of pissed that you did it in 3 days, Barbara. And he went off the fucking rails and like approached her, and I don't even know what he said. But then I had to deal with like the repercussions of
Oh, because
Barbara hating me for the rest of the year. And she also like came up to me and was like, I can't believe you would ever say anything like that to your friend, blah 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 blah. And I was like, what the fuck did he tell you? Like, what am
yeah, what is the situation? Is it like you heard from Barbara that was like, man, I can't believe you got this done in 3 days? Or it was like, oh my gosh, this was this was thrown together in 3 days. He needs to plan better and do
It was
blah blah blah.
that. It was that, but it got blown way out of proportion. And um to the point where she pretty much hated me for the rest of my college career. And over something that
Was it like she didn't expect somebody to say that? She didn't want to stick behind what she said.
I think
She wouldn't have said
so.
it to his face, so she
Yeah,
wasn't happy that you.
I think so. And I don't know exactly what was said between them, but it wasn't what I said. I basically was just like, oh, I'm sure that I said something snarky or whatever, but coming from that, that crippled me, quite literally crippled me. And I couldn't, I remember just going out into the kiln yard and just laying on the floor, on the cement floor, and just being distraught.
After you
Distraught.
found out that they had a conversation and she was upset with you, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And just fucking distraught. And I think that situation really put a lot of stuff in perspective for me for my future and how I handle certain things. And maybe I open my mouth and maybe somebody takes it a little bit too far, or they take it out of context, or I shouldn't have said what I said, or you know just like being able to approach issues and just being straight up, you know what, I was wrong, I shouldn't
Hmm.
have said that, I'm sorry. Not giving excuses, just saying I fucked up,
Hmm.
and being able to have that kind of a conversation, and being able to grow in that way has really helped me. And I think that's a lot of the reason why this stuff doesn't bother me anymore, just because I think that jars me so much more when I've done something wrong and I have to be like, I'm sorry, I messed up, you know? But so yeah.
And it takes
I don't,
character to admit that you're sorry like that.
oh God, it's
And
so
it's the tail between your legs and the like admitting it and
so
also
freaking hard. So
yeah.
freaking hard. Yeah, I think it's one thing when it's your fault versus when you have no idea what you did. like
Yeah, you
like
didn't know the ramifications of your, you could have had it could have seemed like an off comment to you like, "Oh yeah, I heard she thought it was crazy." And then you don't know that they're going to take it
yeah.
like she's saying
But
that I didn't think about
yeah,
this and I just did this last minute and I was
yeah,
procrastinating and I was slacking off or what, or maybe they already had a situation with this person, so it just like ramped it up
yeah.
for them
And
or you know.
yeah, and so and I think that just kind of has, I don't know. I mean, like you said about what if a store came to me and was like, "You did this and this is not okay." I'd be like, "Okay, let's talk about this." And then we can get into that conversation. But if they accused me of something that I did not do at all, or they took it completely out of context, they jumped the gun, I think that I would have a very different response as opposed to somebody saying uh you know I'd have two very different responses.
Yeah, I mean it's way different when you try to handle something privately than to put somebody on blast and then you're like, oh, everything they're gonna say from here is gonna be backpedaling versus
Yeah.
saying,
And
hey, like,
I
can't we talk like adults about this and see where misunderstanding could be had, or
right. And
we can come to a middle ground, or what?
let's say it's a post. Let's say it's a public post that you post and somebody doesn't like it and they publicly oust you for doing that. Let's say Ryan posted that he likes the color purple, and Barbara came on, because we're just going to stick with Barbara. Barbara came on and said, Ryan, the fact that you like the color purple is absolutely outrageous, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm telling the whole world that you like the color purple. um, I would delete the post. I would
You would
just,
delete the initial post that
I would
was
delete the
purple.
entire post because liking the color purple maybe isn't a huge deal to you, but apparently it's a huge deal to Barbara, and you don't need it to get out of hand.
Hmm. Do you
And
say something to Barbara and say, "Hey, I realize this
I
was
think
taken out
that,
of this was taken in a way that I did not intend. So I
yeah,
decided to do this." Because in a way
so,
you could say, "Oh, well, they kind of like they put you in that position that they wanted
right.
you to make the decision to delete the post."
Or they want a reaction of it. I mean, you have to decide, right? Because there was one, I mean, you've had a situation like that where somebody commented on a post that you've done
Hmm.
and they were like, you shouldn't be singing this song because this person's an asshole or whatever.
Hmm.
And you were like, I just really like the song. And
Yeah.
you kind of left it at that.
I
I
was
think that,
like, "Hey, deleting this post is, it was like, hey, you're supporting this person by posting their music or whatever." And I was like, "Don't you think this?" I basically said, "Hey, this conversation, this thread back and forth about why you feel this way about it and me reacting to it and responding to you is more valuable for people to read than me just deleting the post and saving a few
yeah,
pennies from this person making money off of it."
yeah. And I think that also taking it to a personal thread is good, you know.
Taking it to a
Uh,
personal threat? What do you mean?
personal message,
You
PM.
said threat or
I
threat.
said
Maybe you said thread.
thread.
Sorry.
I said thread. I'm sorry.
Thread, not threat.
God damn it.
Throwing
Like,
a personal threat at him is a good option.
God damn it. And those hose connections, man. Um,
Yeah. Reaching out directly.
is like a really good way to handle that. And if they're not doing anything, then I'm like a really big fan of being like, let's say you reached out to somebody, you reached out to Barbara and you're like, Barbara, I understand that you hate the color purple or that you love the color purple and I don't, and I'm really sorry. I'm not going to take it down. And she was like, fine, I'm going to blast you on the whole internet. Then I would, if I didn't take it down, I would post another time and be like, I just want you all to know that this is why I'm sticking to my ground, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
And they probably screenshotted it, and Barbara shared it with the world that you replied to them in DMs and said that you're not going to do it, and you doubled down. You're not going to
yeah.
take it down, and how ashamed you should be for not, you know,
And then
not
they call
deciding
you
to to make a change based on my feedback of saying you should take this down.
and they tell you that you don't support the gay community because you told them that you were a black circle instead of a black box. Um, Not that I have a lot of experience with people ousting me on the internet. Uh, there's still a post by that lady that is still there on her page with my response to her.
It's
Uh,
still there, huh? You
Still
really have to
there.
dig for it, though.
Yeah, you have to dig. I don't remember her name, but I think it's
I
Megan.
remember her name, but I'm not going to say it.
I don't remember. Anyway, there's a time and a place to stand up for yourself, and there's a time and a place to delete the post and block the person,
And
and
just be on
and
with it.
just move on with your life. Just like there's a time and a place if somebody is making you jealous, you just unfollow them and move on with your life. That's kind of the way we do things, I suppose.
Yeah, because then it just starts snowballing, and you got the back and forth, and then there's digging into the minuscule details of the back and forth, and they said this, and this is the way they, you know, it's they're not being reasonable or whatever because they're so callous in the way they responded about this thing. I don't know.
And they'll block you anyway, and eventually they'll probably unblock you and then participate in the events that you are doing. So, it
Or
all turns out,
they'll just cheer on the sideline for your demise
yeah,
secretly.
secretly. It'll all turn out. It just might not turn out the way you think it's going to turn out.
Yeah, I think I've come to the real more and more. I'm more comfortable that like I can't please everybody, but also it doesn't it's not worth the energy to try to please everybody.
Yeah.
But pleasing the people that I care to please, like my customers and stuff, like I'm much more willing to go out of my way to people please for customers than I am for like random strangers that have no business caring about my business, what I'm doing in the studio, my life, my family, anything like that. Like,
Right. And I think that we all live in such small bubbles that unless you are exposed on the internet quite a bit, we all live in such small bubbles that most of the people that you know like you. And to realize that there are some people that just don't like you, is really hard. That's a
mhm,
hard realization. And that realization takes time to be okay with. You know, the first
yeah.
time it happens, you're like, what? Why don't they like me? Like,
And
why not?
and some of the communities are so small. Like it is a
Yeah.
small world that you like not burning bridges is like as little as you can. Don't like don't burn those bridges because you could come across them. They could be colleagues or they could be somebody that you have to work with, partner with, or collaborate with, or something. Like maybe you don't intend to collaborate one on one with them, but you could be in the same circles with them. Whether it's
I've
at
burned a
like
lot of bridges.
an event or a workshop or a conference or there's like groups like guilds and stuff close to you, like especially if they're local to you and they're like your community of potters is probably not that big in your local community. So if you all do
Yeah.
a show together, you're probably gonna cross paths with them and you're probably gonna have to work with them. So even if there's people that you don't like, some of that you just have to deal with them. Just like you have coworkers that you've had in the past that maybe you aren't the best vibe with, but you kind of got to live with it and do the best you can.
Yeah. And take it from somebody who has burned a lot of bridges, i.e., me. If you're gonna burn bridges, you have to be okay with people not liking you.
How do you burn a bridge without them not liking you?
No, I mean just like, some people don't have they have too much anxiety to burn bridges. Some people have too much anxiety for bridge burning.
Hmm.
I am basically Trogdor the Burninator when it comes to bridges. Um, I'm a lot better than I used to be, but yeah.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Yeah, that's why I think that's probably a lot of the reason why I kind of like never stay in one spot for a long time. I was telling I was telling Sarah the other day that I've recently had this anxiety that's recently there's this like looming anxiety in my life right now that's just like somebody's mad at me for
I can
something.
smell it. Somebody's mad at
Like
me. It's in the
I
air.
can feel it deep down in my soul, that somebody is mad at me and I don't know why, but somebody's mad at me and I'm gonna find out sooner or later. And I just need to leave this place. And she was like, well, it's not me. I was like, that's great because you're who I spend most of my time with.
And the internet's a thing, so how far can you run away from this?
Yes. Yeah, for reals.
Ooh.
That's the part I don't like is like that anxiety of like not knowing. I would much rather know that somebody's pissed at me than just not have people like
Yeah.
talk
But then
behind your
do
back.
you but then it can be a little bit annoying if you're constantly asking people, "Are you mad at me? Is there something I did that was wrong or like what
Right, for
was there
sure.
something I know we had a little iffy, like you were a little iffy with me recently, like was it because I did something wrong or like what?"
Then they are gonna be mad at you. They will get mad at you because you keep asking about it.
Yeah. It's like you're
But I do
paranoid
know that
about this.
nobody is mad at me. I think that I just haven't had a traumatic experience recently. Like
I mean,
everything in my
somebody probably is in the somewhere in the world mad at you, but like
Oh, I'd hope so.
it shouldn't hold space.
I mean, it's Albert. Albert's mad at me.
Or me. I don't know.
God
Both of
fucking
us.
damn it, Albert. How could you be mad at me, Ryan? Is it because
No.
I got a 75% cotton t-shirt?
No. No. No, I mean he's mad at both of us is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
oh.
Not me. No, well, what did you do? What did you do from there with
What
the
did I do?
t-shirt? You put it out to the world. What did the world say?
Oh, I haven't seen. What did you see? I'm fine with any of the answers.
I
I
saw
just
3 comments. That's all I saw. I didn't see the poll, but I saw 3 comments. But the thing is, you're not really like stuck on this answer. You just want an answer
I
to
just want
decide.
to, yeah. Did somebody take? Oh, I'm on Pot Swap, not Wheel. I need to go to Pot Swap. Not. Okay, so just for context, I asked people because Ryan's a super snobby t-shirt person, and
We'll see. Am I a super snobby t-shirt person?
we've got a lot of team qualities.
What? What?
One person says they prefer 100% cotton. Somebody says cotton. I think we should have two options. I think this
What is
proves
the
that
poll? The poll was I don't care, tri-blend or cotton. How did the poll
um
come out? I don't
insights.
know how to look at analytics for that, but
You know what? I don't either. But the original poll was on the. Oh, I think that I don't know. But the original poll was on the oh sweet Jesus. Um the stories. Mm.
oh, that's why it looked like that. You put the poll on top of the story. I thought you embedded the poll inside it.
No, I put the poll on top of the stories.
Okay.
It's a 30-30-30 split almost. So we've got 26 votes for tri-blend, 25 votes for cotton, wait for tri-blend, cotton now, and then 27 votes for I could care less.
I think that was also it should be couldn't care less, right? I couldn't care less than I do right now. Meaning I care the least at this moment.
You're right. Anyway,
But that's fine. Hey,
yeah,
that's foul and foul.
it's foul and foul, man. Uh, I think that yeah. Anyway, this doesn't need to be on the internet, but I think we should have two options: a cotton option and
Should they be different colors?
a
And
polyester
should
option.
they be different prices?
We'll see. We'll have to look. Um,
Okay.
but cool. Okay,
I
I think
had
we
I
should
had
probably
one
stop.
thing.
Oh, go on.
If you had a, and this is probably just, if there's something looming from some situation, whether like if there's a business that you work with, like I'm thinking like consignment shop or wholesaler or something that is looming a little bit of like, hey, this is kind of what's going on, or the price of kind of like what Henrik was talking about, like, hey, there's this wholesaler that we worked with at this bar
Yeah.
that had this situation where they oversold the price and were making a bunch of money that I was not privy to, and I found out about it, or you've got somebody that's I'm thinking like a shop that I have that's like pretty demanding on needing stuff, but like maybe their results are not as good as others. So like, how do I have that conversation with them to say, hey, this is where we're at. I appreciate you as a customer and a partner, but like this is where we're at with it. This is what I'm feeling in this partnership. This is kind of what your expectations are, and maybe they're not matching, or
Mhm.
like clearing the air a little bit, but also like showing appreciation for them. Like I think that's important to try to do your
Yeah.
best, other than just letting it kind of fester. And you're like, man, they did this. They like screwed me on this price, and they didn't make it right, and you don't let them know about it, but
Yeah.
you're just like seething from it.
Yeah. I think that, and also when things like that happen, is write the email and put it in the draft box for a day, and then send the email. You know, it's because
Especially if it's
there's
unprovoked, it's a little
yeah.
like, how would you feel receiving that email?
Mhm.
Like if you come in hot, like Albert coming in hot,
Yeah.
like you're gonna be reading that hot versus coming in kind of
Yeah.
like Oreo cookie it sort of with like good,
Right.
like
Good, bad, good. Yeah.
And then you just say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking. And then, like, what can we do about this going forward? And how do we resolve it?
And also, if you're going to send an email with strong feelings, make sure your goddamn grammar is correct. And spelling. We want spelling and grammar correct, especially if you are insulting somebody. If you're on the insulting end, please make sure your grammar and spelling is correct.
I don't think they were drafting that. I think they just wrote it, sent it.
I know. I just wish that we could get a little bit more.
Yeah. There's probably, maybe there were some drafts sitting unsent to us in the past because they thought about it and then they were like, you know what?
Yeah.
Think about that.
All right. We should probably skedoodle.
Yes.
And because it's almost 12.
Yeah.
Yay!
This is an interesting topic discussion.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of went a few ways, but it probably just needed all to be said.
Yeah, I mean, obviously people aren't going to run in this exact scenario, but they're going to relate it to how do you handle stuff under pressure and also not, because I sometimes I will tend to react in the moment and be like, okay, this is what I need to do to try to like resolve it and be
Yeah.
a quick response versus like, you know what, I should probably stew on this and think about it a little bit more and take my time to give a well-crafted response
Yeah.
than something fully emotional.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Peace out.
Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace and blessings to you and yours.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Whale Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.